Hi, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I am baking my way through the Great British Baking Show cookbook Love to Bake. Today we are working on a rhubarb, rose, and pistachio layer cake. Lots of good flavors today. This is bake number 50 out of this book, so yay! There are 80 in here, so I still have a little ways to go, but let's get going. Okay, so I want to make the sponge first, so I have ground almonds, 100 grams of ground almonds, 40 grams of ground pistachios, and I have 120 grams of self-rising flour. If you want to make this recipe gluten-free, just make sure that the self-rising flour is gluten-free, and then that's all you need to do. And I'm just going to give that a stir in my little mixing bowl. I'm just going to set that to the side. Okay, so I have 225 grams of unsalted butter in my mixing bowl for my mixer. I'm going to add 225 grams of caster sugar. The recipe calls for golden caster sugar, but we can't find that in the States, so I'm just substituting caster sugar, which should be fine. And then I'm going to beat this with my beater attachment for about 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, that's looking really good. What I need to do now is I have 4 eggs, and I'm just going to add them one at a time and beat well in between each. All right, all of the eggs are in there now. My batter curdled a little bit. Yeah, I added a little bit of the flour mixture, but you know, it is what it is. Now I have 50 milliliters of soured cream, and I'm just going to beat that in as well. All right, I'm done with my mixer now because the rest of it I'm going to fold in. All right, and I'm going to add my flour mixture to my bowl along with 1 teaspoon of vanilla paste, a pinch of salt, and I have 250 grams of diced rhubarb down to about 1 centimeter dices, fresh out of my garden actually. And I'm going to place those in there, and I'm going to fold this all together. Today we are using 15 centimeter or 6-inch pans. I'm going to divide my mixture in between those pans. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to bake these at 355 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 to 35 minutes. Okay, those have been in for about 35 minutes. They're looking nice and golden, and the skewer came out clean, so they're ready to go. Okay, for this recipe, there is a rhubarb and rose compote. So I'm going to make that with 200 grams more of rhubarb, and I've just got that cut to about 2 to 3 centimeter pieces, so it's a little bit bigger than the ones that went into the sponge. And I've got 50 grams of caster sugar, and I'm just going to mix that up, and I'm just going to let it sit. It says let it sit for 10 minutes, just so that the rhubarb releases some liquid while it's sitting here. So the pan's not on or anything, just sitting here for a few minutes. Now I'm just going to bring this to a boil. It's been sitting for about 10 minutes, so there is a little bit of liquid you can see coming off the rhubarb. So I'm going to bring it to a boil and reduce the heat and simmer for about 5 minutes. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. They're softened. They're actually getting kind of mushy, so I'm going to take them off. And then it just says to stir in rose water to taste is what it says. But then in the recipe, it says to use 3 to 5 drops. So I'm just going to do a little scoop of this. I don't know. It's only my second time using rose water, so we'll see. And I'm just going to stir that up. Whew. There's definitely a rose smell. All right, now it does say to just leave this cool. So I'm just going to leave it in the pan to cool. Okay, there's also a vanilla rose syrup. So I have 50 milliliters of water in a pan, a different pan. I'm adding 50 grams of caster sugar, half a teaspoon of vanilla paste, and this one says 2 to 3 drops of rose water, so a little less. I'm just going to stir this over low heat until it becomes syrupy. That's what it says. And the sugar dissolves. Okay, my syrup has been cooking over low heat for a while. I lost track of time, but at least 20 minutes. So it's a little thicker. So I'm just going to take it off the heat and leave it to cool. So now I need to take a cocktail stick, a toothpick, and poke some holes in my sponge. And then I'm going to brush on my syrup that I made. So the holes, I guess, theoretically giving you some space for it to go into the sponge. Gives it more flavor. Now I do need to let these cool in the tins completely before I can start stacking my cake. Okay, I'm going to make some buttercream now. So I have 225 grams of butter in my bowl, and I am going to beat the butter in a stand mixer on slow speed for 5 minutes until pale and creamy. Now I get to add 420 grams of icing sugar, powdered sugar, a little at a time. Okay, it's looking really good. I need 1 more teaspoon of vanilla paste for this and 3 tablespoons of milk. And then I'm going to beat until it's a smooth, fluffy buttercream. That's looking really good. All right, now I just need to assemble. So I've got my icing in a tube, and I've got my cakes. They're all cool. We're ready to go. So I just gently ran a knife around the outside edges of these, and they came out pretty awesome. So that's pretty cool. I'm just going to put a little blob of icing there to get me started. And then, so what I'm supposed to do, I'm just supposed to pipe a little bit and smooth it. Buttercream around the outside edge. Okay, and then I need to just pipe a ring around the outside edge here, because that is where I'm going to put my compote in between my layers. And then I just do the same thing again. Okay, I've got my top layer on. What I've learned is that these cakes never turn out as pretty as they do on the picture. That is totally my own fault. Though there's a lot of moisture in this cake, and I just don't know how in the world you're supposed to get it to stay together. So I've got a lot of crumb in my coat. There's no avoiding that. I mean, it was just so wet. Anyway, okay, there it is. You know, when you cut it open, the layers aren't super prominent. Again, there's just a lot of liquid in there. If you have to put that much syrup on a sponge, it's just going to soak through. Anyway, okay, let's try a piece. I just cut a huge hunk because I wanted to try it. That's really good. I know I say that quite a lot. These recipes are generally just really good. I really like the tanginess of the rhubarb. Yeah, that's a really good combination. I never would have guessed of putting pistachios with rhubarb, and then I just never bake with rose water. But the balance of the frosting and all of that, it's just a really nice, not overly sweet, kind of tangy cake. I wish it looked a little prettier, but whatever. That's just my role. Anyway, that was my latest bake in my Great British Baking Show cookbook. Love to bake. That is number 50. Yes, 50. Woo! All right, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and then go check out some of my other videos. There's lots. And I will see you next bake.